Imagine doing the same thing over and over and over again, and even worse, being forced to do it over and over again. That is the only reality for Celine in her own personal recurring nightmare. She crash lands her ship, the Helios. She wakes up from the crash in an unknown planet. She runs the gauntlet of this mysterious planet, and when she meets her end, instead of being released from this torment, another iteration of her runs the cycle all over again. With no inclination of how much time has passed or how many times she has repeated this cycle, Celine has no choice but to spin the wheel and hope that this time she will break the cycle and find the answers she is looking for. I'm sure finding your previous self lying on the floor can start to get old, so it's in Celine's best interest to keep pushing through. That's kind of what this platinum run feels like. You will keep pushing through each time, feeling more confident in your abilities, learning new ways to go farther into the world, making better decisions on what to pick up, and sometimes finding permanent upgrades that carry over through your future runs. And when you've collected all the trophies for the story, the platinum run is going to thrust you right back into the gauntlet until you find everything. And continuing on towards the platinum trophy is going to make you feel exactly like Celine, playing the game over and over, waiting to find things that release her from this recurring hell. I guess that's the point of the game, isn't it? But on this episode of Platinum Hunters, I'm going to show you how to break the cycle and get the permanent upgrade to your trophy list, the Helios Platinum Trophy. This is Platinum Hunters, the show where we take a look at everything it takes to get the Platinum Trophy and whether it's worth the effort to achieve it. This is just one of many trophy guide videos that I have on the channel, and if you ended up liking this video, check out the other ones and subscribe for more Platinum Trophy guides. You might just find your next Platinum Trophy. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This game is hard. It will certainly challenge even the most skilled players, especially with how underpowered you are at the beginning of the game. Running the first couple of biomes can be rough until you start figuring out the mechanics of this roguelike. The Platinum Trophy itself is a pretty straightforward run. The game is broken down into 3 acts with 6 biomes to traverse. 5 of the 6 biomes have bosses that will prevent you from moving to the next biome, and you will need to take them down. Then once you have completed the requirements for the 3 acts, you will be running each of the biomes over and over again until you have completed the biome surveys. I will explain more about these in the guide, but think of them like 100% completing a biome. These surveys are where you're going to be at the mercy of the game's randomized nature and can easily double your playtime of Returnal. I completed the game in around 35 hours, and the remainder of my full platinum runtime was made up of completing the surveys, often looking for 1 or 2 items that would take a couple of runs to even spawn in the biome. If you vehemently hate RNG in your games, this might not be the best platinum for you to get. But this guide is going to heavily focus on alleviating some of the frustrations that people experience with this game. I'm going to make sure you first understand the game, and then make sure you can min-max your time playing it for the platinum run. There will be a ton of helpful guides in the description below in the usual spot. There are a few things you should know about the game before we crash land into this guide. As of recording this video, this game has experienced some bugs and is prone to crashing. In my playthrough, I experienced 3 to 4 soft crashes where I was brought back to the console's menu, and 1 hard crash that completely shut off my PS5. Sometimes games crash for various reasons, but Returnal doesn't have a save feature between runs, so if you experience a crash 2 hours into a run, none of that progress will be saved. In terms of the glitched trophies mentioned in the trophy info sheet, there have been varying degrees of glitched trophies happening to different players. Some players would have a boss trophy not pop, and the fix was just beat the boss again. That happened to me with the 4th boss, where the trophy didn't pop and I just beat it again to rectify that. But some players had more severe glitch trophies like Sins of the Mother, Act trophies, or Survey trophies not popping when they should, and there is no going back without starting a brand new save file. It has something to do with the way the progress is tracked through the PS5 activity cards, so I beg you, make sure you play this game online at all times to prevent any of these trophies from glitching. The last thing I have experienced is sound issues, where the sound would just cut out completely and require a restart to fix the issue. It is possible that by the time you watch this video, the game might be patched and everything is gravy, but as of the release of this video, I thought I would let you know what I experienced before you make the decision to jump in the game. And of course, I'll be sure to add updates in the description that outline any kind of fix or patch that this game experiences. But let's get into the trophy guide now. Let's start in Act 1, and our first 3 biomes are the Overgrown Ruins, the Crimson Wastes, and the Derelict Citadel. We will be running through these 3 biomes to get the Failed Escape trophy for completing Act 1. Like I said before, starting this game is pretty brutal, because you are placed in this biome with tight corridors and some pretty underpowered firepower. Many of the guns at weapon proficiency 1 to 5 are pretty basic, and you don't unlock the spicy firepower until later on. So running the Overgrown Ruins is going to be your biggest hurdle to overcome, and it starts to get a little bit easier later on. First part of the game will be learning the basics in the quote-unquote tutorial. You will get Atropian survival once you progress through the tutorial and the game takes the training wheels off, letting you go on 2 wheels. And just when you think you're doing it, you will ride into the ruins, crash your bike so hard, leaving you with a bunch of scrapes and scabs that need Thomas the Tank Engine band-aids on them. What? Just me? Anyways, I normally leave it up to the player to learn the game for themselves, and I just provide the trophies. But this time, I will provide you with some baseline tips because I feel like it will help some players conceptualize the game better. Can't stress this enough. Dash is your best friend, and mid-dash, you are invincible. There were lots of deaths that could have been avoided if I had simply just dashed into the spread of projectiles instead of trying to jump over it or run away from it. I'm going to say it again. Dash is your best friend. Take full advantage of those iframes. You will collect a resource known as Ether as you play, and don't bother hoarding that stuff because it caps out at 30. Start spending that moolah right from the very beginning at this altar on every run. Every time you put the requested amount of ether into the altar, you will unlock a new artifact, consumable, or other helpful item that will start appearing randomly in the biomes from there on out. Using ether on malignant items and malignant chests is a slippery slope, because if you do use all of it and then you die, it was all wasted when you could have used it at the altar for permanent items. The malfunctions are part of the risk-reward factor of the game, and there are many ways to get rid of them, so there's no point in avoiding every single one of them. Embrace them and adapt. Consumables are always worth picking up, but not all of them are super useful. I tend to keep all the ones that will increase your health in a pinch, like the small and large Siphium vials. These items are completely stackable, and later on in the game, if you're watching this and you haven't gotten that far yet, you will get more slots to hold consumable items. I also love the damage siphon consumable, which will heal you for every shot you land on an enemy that doesn't go away until you get hit. Also pick up the shield vial, cause who doesn't want an extra inconsequential hit? The projectile portal is also fantastic against tough enemies. It saved me many times when the big Xeno monsters come stomping around. The nullification sphere that gets rid of all these current malfunctions is a must pick up. And lastly, the translocation sphere is a good one, as it will take you to a random secret room. Now in terms of the parasites, never pick up the ones that increase malfunction probability, malfunction severity, or any that hurt you for collecting items. No matter how good the positive attribute of that parasite is, these negative attributes will most certainly lead to your downfall, especially running the early game biomes. Personally, the two best parasites are the ones that auto-restore your integrity, aka your health when you're in the critical zone, or the one that will revive you when you lose all your health. These two come clutch so many times, and that the negative side of the parasites was often worth it. There is also an artifact version of the parasite that will restore your integrity in the critical zone called Emergency Repairs. But if you see that parasite, definitely pick it up. As well, the astronaut figure personal item will pick you back up when you fall and get the trophy Second Chance. Stacking these revives is possible and super helpful against the bosses that we will cover shortly. Some acceptable negative parasite attributes are reducing the timer on dropped oblites or small percentage hits to your protection or integrity. Those are trade-offs that you can usually balance out by collecting artifacts that increase those stats. Speaking of artifacts, some of my personal favorites to grab are any of Celine's personal items like the astronaut figure, the blade balancer so you can open the orange plasma doors, the artifact that lets you leech certain amount of integrity off of enemies depending on your adrenaline level, the artifact that lets you have a resinous shield when you pick up a resin, allowing you to take a free hit no consequences, and any artifact that increases your weapon damage. There are stat augments that will flat increase your weapon damage by 10%, but the ones I prefer are the ones like Golden Coil that'll increase your weapon damage based on the amount of oblites you're holding, or Adrenaline Stimulants that increases your weapon damage by 5% times your adrenaline level. The most clutch artifact when you can find it is Resin Enhancer, which will make it so you only need 2 resins to increase your max integrity instead of 3. This will help your max health climb very fast and make Celine a tanky girl. On the whole, you can't go wrong with artifacts, but most of them you have to buy with oblites, so it's good to know which ones are the best, and also have fun experimenting. Sometimes negative statuses can immediately turn into a positive when paired with the right artifact or parasite. That's the beauty of this game, and what makes it absolutely super addicting to play. And you will be playing and unlocking a whole lot of new things running through these first 3 biomes, including trophies. This is pretty much inevitable, but you will get the trophy Eternal Return for the first time you die. Spoiler alert, in case you haven't noticed, you will die a lot. You will crash land your ship a lot. You will yell at your TV a lot. Another thing you will do a lot is overload your weapon. Woo, nailed that segue. When you have to reload, a meter will pop up Gears of War style where you need to click the trigger inside of the box to overload your weapon. For the trophy, Surgical Precision, you need to perform 5 of these overloads in a row. This is much easier to do when your adrenaline level is high. Speaking of adrenaline, you will get the trophy Adrenaline Spike when you successfully get to level 5. Every 3 enemies you take down will increase your adrenaline level unless you have augmented the count with a parasite or artifact. You really need to make sure you make use of the number 1 rule, don't get hit, because taking a hit will bring you back down to 0. But fear not, this will come naturally as you play and when you are in the zone. One weird trophy that you will get naturally is Risk Assessment. The actual qualifications for the trophy are not completely known or pinned down, but it has to do with clearing the malfunctions that you pick up from malignant items. The trophy description itself just says, finish calculated risk. What does that mean? Honestly, just keep playing the game, clearing the malfunctions, and eventually it will pop. It's not glitched like the other ones mentioned, but we just haven't determined exactly what makes this trophy tick. You will get it though, trust me. Irreversibly Contaminated is our next trophy for holding 5 parasites at the same time in one run. This might screw you over depending on which parasites you pick up, but attach 5 of them on your body just for the purpose of this trophy. Now as you are bobbing and weaving from room to room, one room that you will eventually stumble into is the room containing a house. This is the PT looking house that everybody saw from the teaser trailers and will help progress the game's very cryptic story. The first one you find as part of the trophy will pop the Welcome Home trophy. These are strange and get more intense as you go. There are 5 more of them throughout the game for the trophy, Sins of the Mother, but we are going to put a pin in this trophy for now, and come back to it in Act 3. For now, whenever you see the light on in the house, go in and complete these sections. Have fun. Here are 2 very important collectibles and the trophies tied to them. You will get the Cryptic Messages trophy when you scan your first Xenoglyph. This is one of those big stone tablets with the glowing red symbol on it. These messages on the tablet have tiers that you can unlock just by finding ciphers inside the biome. These ciphers are important for getting the Cryptic Translations trophy, as you will need to get a handful of these ciphers to increase the Xenoglyph tier to 3 and just read it to pop the trophy. You will get this trophy pretty early on, as well find lots of ciphers scattered all over. They are the glowing red symbols on the wall and will be always marked on the map. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. Yeah, come close. Come close. Get nice and close, okay? Ready? Grab every one of them. I will explain why later in the Platinum run. And seriously, grab every scout log as well, which is also marked on the map. You will get the trophy Alternate Fates when you pick up your 10th scout log off a previous iteration of Selene. These and the ciphers appear on the map randomly and are super important for later. But damn, as you are going through this, pour one out for all the Selenes we lost in the struggle. R.I.P. Okay, once you make it to the boss door, it's time to get the trophy, A Shadow in the Fog, and take on our very first boss, Phrike. It's not the most difficult boss in the game, but he certainly will feel like it. I certainly died quite a few times against him, getting used to how much health these bosses have. These spongy ass bosses put Destiny and Division bosses to shame, and they have 3 bars of health, with the bosses getting more aggressive with each bar. The thing you have to know about Phrike is that his melee attacks hit hard, and you need to make sure you figure out the dodge timing. Don't bother running, cause he closes the gap by teleporting, so the only way to safely evade is by using your dash. And during his 3rd phase, this 3-arm weirdo is gonna get extra handsy and come at you with more melee attacks. Keep evading and use those iframes. I understand that you need to pour the damage sauce on him, but if you are taking hit after hit, you will quickly find yourself back at the ship. Good luck with him, and once he is slain, you will get the MacGuffin that will let you head to the 2nd biome, the Crimson Wastes. In stark contrast to the dark and claustrophobic overgrown ruins, the Crimson Wastes is bright and expansive. I'll never forget walking through that portal, running up those stairs and seeing this red sand desert and a mountain we must climb. If you hated having no space to move in the last biome, well, here is your salvation, as there is plenty of space to maneuver now. Even when you're making your way through the interior sections, very few of the rooms have tight corridors. This area is definitely going to feel easier, especially if you have raided the first biome of its upgrades, and now you're proceeding to this one. Your ascent up the mountain is going to lead you to your 2nd boss fight against Ixion for the trophy Ascension. To give you guys some confidence, I beat this boss on my first try using a pistol, so he is definitely much more manageable. I'm not going to say it's easier because there's a certain way to fight him, but his first 2 phases are again more manageable if you keep your distance from him. I think the pistol weapon lends itself nicely to this fight, and see if you can go into this fight with a pistol with a ranged alt fire like Void Beam to help assist you. When the bullet hell starts, just jump over his blue waves and walk between the orange bullets while continuing to fire. His 3rd phase is where things get a little bit dicey, as he starts to get up close and personal with more melee attacks like Phrike. You need to dodge these at the right moments, just like the last fight. Once you have bested the Fallen Angel, you can immediately proceed to the 3rd biome, the Derelict Citadel. You will also get the grapple hook, which is incredibly useful and gives you access to loot you couldn't previously reach before. This right here is honestly the best permanent upgrade in the game. But before we take on the 3rd biome, be sure to check back with the Helios ship and check out the simulation mode terminal, which should be unlocked by now. The only, air quotes, true online trophy in the game is in-field training, where you just need to complete one of these daily score challenges. These are curated score challenges that have a linear path and an ending point and rotate daily. They are pretty fun and a fun extra activity to take on. See how far up the leaderboards you can get and then jump into the third biome. The Derelict Citadel is another pretty open area, and now you have way more mobility thanks to the grapple hook. Another pro tip is to use these as your escape plan, because when things get too hot, and trust me it will, you need to get away from these suicide enemies in this place using that grapple hook. These damn drones took me out numerous times, either with a rocket fire or being salty, rusty pieces of garbage and charging right at me. Thankfully, you'll be unlocking some new firepower, and your weapon proficiency can go up to 15, meaning you will get the guns with some new perks. In this biome, it is the first time you can unlock a full Xeno archive and get the trophy Visions of the Past. You will sometimes enter those rooms that have those cool blue holograms with all the particles swirling around, and you can collect an archive for each one. Whereas the first two biomes have an extra one that you can only get later in the game, this biome has a set you can complete immediately once you first step into the room. It's also on your way as you weave through the Citadel, so you will just naturally get this one as well. Making it to the very top is going to be a huge challenge already, but then you gotta fight the toughest boss in the game, Nemesis. For the trophy Trial by Judgment, you gotta take this thing down. This mountainous mass of xenomatter is so damn spongy, and I died on this boss so many times. You need to go into this fight equipped with a lot of heals and 1 or 2 revive items. But the thing that saved me in this fight was the item that auto repairs your health when it's critical. That saved my ass in the third phase. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, as you need to get through phase 1 and 2 first. Lay down suppressive fire on the red spot on his body while dodging all the bullet hell that's going to come at you. You also need to keep an eye out for his cronies blasting lasers at you. Be ready to dash through these laser beams while still keeping that gun red hot. For this one, it's best to come with an automatic rifle or the Hollow Seeker. Once you're in phase 2, it's going to be similar, except he has more cronies now, and he moves around the now broken up arena, forcing you to grapple hook to the platform he has reappeared on. Second verse, same as the first. Keep chipping away at his health bar. Now for phase 3, which will get a little bit weird, Nemesis has completely broken up the floor you're standing on, and you have to grapple hook to each small platform to get closer to him. He is a bit easier to take on in this way, but you still gotta be careful dodging the lasers and bullet hell that's gonna come at you. Get closer to Nemesis and start bringing down his final health bar. Now that integrity auto repair item sure comes in handy here, because if you are low on health, you can recharge it during the time it takes to grapple hook from platform to platform, or you can use the platforms as cover and wait till your health regenerates. Keep pushing until Nemesis is finally defeated and you close out Act 1. It has already been a huge struggle, and you will probably have a sizable playtime, but trust me, from here on out, it will start to get easier in Act 2 as your expertise with the game has certainly increased. Dropping into Act 2, things are going to feel a bit familiar yet different. We will be aiming to clear its 3 biomes yet again for the trophy Last Drive. The Echoing Ruins is the first biome in this act, and things certainly done changed with this one. The terrain has certainly morphed, and now the biome unfolds in a bit of a more linear way. You will converge to a point where the boss door requires 2 keys that can be found at the end of 2 separate paths. By now, you will also unlock some more of your arsenal and start to get the big guns. The thermogenic rocket launcher and the damage over time weapons like the electropylon driver and the rock gland lobber are all excellent weapons. And the best thing is that you will unlock more perks for your existing arsenal with absolutely insane boosts. As your weapon proficiency goes up, you can find weapons with 3 or 4 perks that even have a second, stronger version of those set perks. Where in the first act, you are the underdog with some decent artillery, running up the hill saving Private Ryan style, in Act 2, you are a member of the Expendables, and it's time to rip, shred, and run shop in these remaining biomes. This is the absolute purest form of satisfaction brought on from its superior gameplay loop and controls. And shout out to the wonderful haptic feedback implementation by Housemarque with the DualSense control. With that said, let's get some well-deserved revenge for the fallen. Our next major foe is Hyperion, and the trophy Silence the Song. This took me 2 tries to beat, and the main thing with this one is dodging all the bullet hell that either fills the screen or comes at you from right above your head. My first run at the boss with a very good proficiency pistol bared no fruit, but I came back with the carbine rifle and took Hyperion down. I had a bit of trouble, but nowhere near as bad as Nemesis. Any machine gun type weapon is going to help you tremendously, like the Hollow Seeker, and I've replayed the boss later on with the thermogenic launcher, and I can recommend it considering the boss stays in one place, mashing the organ keys for most of the fight. You're seasoned by now, and you know how to dodge the bullet hell while slathering on that sweet, hickory smoked damage sauce. Not difficult to beat by any means, but what an absolute wonderful event this boss is. As soon as you put in the keys and open the boss door, you can hear Hyperion's nightmarish chorus bellowing out to you, and it starts to get louder as you grapple hook up to the beast like he is the Pied Piper ensnaring you to follow it. This part of the game is absolutely epic. There is no better word than epic to describe this. Besting Hyperion will give you access to the 5th biome, the Fractured Wastes. This is the Crimson Waste, except hell has finally frozen over. Now you have to collect 3 keys from 3 separate paths in order to open the door. Also, this biome doesn't have a boss, so you will obtain all 3 keys and you can proceed to our final biome called the Abyssal Scar. This final biome is located completely underwater, and it's dark and brooding down there. The first drop in the biome really made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. With the advent of this biome being underwater though, you can jump higher at the cost of a little bit of speed, making exploring a hell of a lot easier. If you're rolling in with a carbine rifle, or better yet the Hollow Seeker, you will have a much easier time navigating this biome with all the kamikaze enemies coming at you. But now you can increase your weapon proficiency up to a max level of 30, and this will get you the trophy Adapting to Circumstance when you hit the max level. Now, if you find yourself playing this biome and at the end not getting the level 30 proficiency, this can be fixed by playing through the biome and picking up a few proficiency rate stat augments to help you accelerate your level faster. As well, you have the opportunity to get the trophy Hardened Shell for increasing your max integrity to 200%. There will be lots of resin and health pickups as you run through all 3 biomes in one go. And remember that if you have full health and pick up a regular health upgrade, it will count as a resin instead. The Resin Enhancer artifact we talked about earlier will certainly help speed this up if you are lucky to find it. Also, stay away from parasites and malfunctions that will reduce your max integrity. Once you wade your way through this biome and grab the Abyssal key, make your way down the final drop, which will place you in the 5th and final boss's arena. This is the final moments of Act 2, and it's time to get the Inner Darkness trophy for defeating Ophion. I'm bigging up this boss, and trust me, he's big enough, but honestly, I beat him in my first try, all because I went in there with the Hollow Seeker. This weapon at high proficiencies claps cheeks. This weapon has perks like Portal Beam, Portal Turret, Shrapnel, Serrates projectiles, and even phasing rounds, which lets you shoot through walls. This weapon is the king. It's the GOAT. This weapon will bring the doom of anything in this game. Roll into this fight with this gun. The trick to this fight is you need to keep shooting at the blue circles that pop up around the boss to unveil the red weak points you need to shoot at. This is where you're going to do some serious damage to the creature. The bullet hell in this fight is going to be on a whole nother level, and you will be dashing, jumping, and circling around it as it completely fills the screen. It gets really hectic, and you will absolutely need to dodge the purple waves and beams, as dashing through them won't work. Keep the damage coming though, as you don't want to be dodging this stuff forever. Over the 3 phases, Ophion doesn't really have any new tricks to look out for, but the amount of shit flying on screen is definitely going to ramp up. To sum up this fight, keep hitting those blue spheres, then the red weak points, and avoid the purple waves and beams, and you'll do just fine. That will close out Act 2 as you complete the final story section, and you will roll credits. Now on to Act 3 to finally close out the story. In order to get the White Shadow trophy for completing Act 3, there are a few things you need to do. In Act 3, there are no new biomes to worry about, and instead you will need to revisit every biome and look for the sundial pieces. There are 6 in total and 1 in each of the 6 biomes. After defeating Ophion, you now have the ability to travel between the overgrown ruins and the echoing ruins from this previously locked door on the Helios. You will have to do a run through of every biome looking for each sundial piece that is also marked on your map the same way the ciphers and the scout logs are marked. Unfortunately, just like the other 2 collectibles, they are randomly placed in the world, and you will have to check everywhere till you find it. This is where the random nature of the game starts to show the cracks in the concrete, which will continue to get worse over time. But once you have completed the collection process, find the house in the echoing ruins so we can close out the house sequences and finally get the trophy, Sins of the Mother. You should have done the 5 other house sequences previous to this final visit, so if you haven't, you will need to do that first. Then you will be able to use the 6 sundial pieces to enter the house one final time. I'm going to be vague from here on out on the details because spoilers, but you will receive an important story item upon finishing the last house sequence, and now you will have to run through the Abyssal Scar biome one more time and defeat Ophion one more time while you have this special item. At the end of this sequence, the ending area you traverse will be a little bit different, and this will give you the true ending to the game and finish Act 3. You have now completed the main storyline, and there are 6 trophies standing in the way of your prestigious Platinum Trophy. Before we close out our Returnal Platinum Trophy run, if you have made it this far into the video and enjoyed the content, please drop a like to let me know you made it this far. Now let's close out this Platinum run and break the cycle. Oh boy, where do I start with this? I guess I will pop the 6 trophies on screen right now. There is 1 survey trophy for each biome, and what you have to do to 100 complete each one is to find all of the following items in each biome: the ciphers, the scout logs, the Xeno archives, and the containment areas. Now that you have every permanent upgrade and beat the game, there is nowhere off limits in each biome, and you can search every nook and cranny of the map for these items. The containment areas might even be done already if you've been doing them regularly. They are the golden doors where you face off against 3 waves of enemies. There's 1 in each biome. The Xeno archives are also easy to check off the list now that you have every upgrade needed to complete them. Just find the rooms and activate each one. You can check if you're missing any in the touchpad menu as well, clicking on the activity cards in the PS5 menu. It will give you a checklist of what is missing. Now for the worst part of the run. You will need to find all of the ciphers and scout logs, and this will be completely RNG based. And I don't mean the fact that they will appear in different rooms on the map, but a lot of times the ones you are looking for will not show up inside the biome while you are running it, meaning you will have to start another cycle and go through the said biome again. This is the part of the Platinum run where the experience turns sour thanks to how heavy-handed the RNG is here. It would have been okay if every time you ran the biome, you would get at least 1 new thing, but that's not how it works here. During my playthrough of the game, I must have ran the Crimson Wastes anywhere from 40 to 50 extra times just to collect the last ciphers I was looking for. The problem is that some rooms are super rare and pop up once in a while, and there are usually ciphers or scout logs in those said rooms. So you can look up a guide to see where the ciphers and scout logs are located and what the room looks like, but it really doesn't help all that much because the room needs to appear there in the first place. I beat Act 2 at around the 35-hour mark, and it took me around 5 hours to get the sundials, so about 40 hours give or take. Well, my time to get the Platinum Trophy doubled, so another 40 hours was put in just running these biomes over and over and over again and again and again and again and again, looking for the rest of these damn scout logs and ciphers. I felt exactly like Celine, wondering why the fuck am I running these damn biomes over and over again, and when am I gonna be released from this personal hell? And when I was finally let go from this recurring nightmare by finding the last item, I swear I wanted to cry. I finally got all 6 survey trophies and put an end to this. The RNG hit so hard in this game. It's the reason I didn't upload a video last week and the reason I haven't been able to work on anything else since the game came out. All my playtime was put into finally finishing this game, and if you want this platinum as badly as I did, you're going to have to go through this too. You might get lucky and it will take you 50 to 60 hours to get the plat. I wish that upon everybody. Or RNG might slap you even worse than it slapped me, as I've heard some players going as high as 100 hours. In any event, Celine will share her pain with you, should you attempt to get the Platinum Trophy. But if you have followed this guide and have gotten every trophy, including the 6 surveys, congratulations. And I really mean it. You have the patience of a saint. You will be awarded the Helios Platinum Trophy for Returnal. As of recording this video, there are no new add-on trophy sets or downloadable content with trophies for this game. But if there is any released, we will definitely cover them on the channel in their own separate videos, and be sure to look at the top of the screen for the link to that video. Overall, I enjoyed the first 40 to 45 hours of this immaculate masterpiece of atmospheric storytelling and action gameplay that makes you dig deep inside yourself to complete it. I just wish the last 35 to 40 hours of the game was just as enjoyable. No, scratch that. There didn't need to be another 35 to 40 hours of running the biomes at the mercy of RNG. Maybe another 5 to 10 would have been fine, but 40? Come on, that's insane, and it didn't need to be like that. Returnal, despite being a roguelite meant to be infinitely replayable, ran out of things to keep me interested by the 50-hour mark, and it didn't need to make me continue on past that to obtain the Helios Platinum Trophy. My recommendation is to definitely play this game, as it should not be missed out on. But only go after the Platinum Trophy if you can stand the RNG this game throws at you and you are as determined as I was to get it. I realize for a lot of players, just getting through some of these bosses and biomes is already going to be enough challenge for them to handle. Now, if the devs want to do us a solid and make it so you will find a new item with every run, that would be cool. That would fix this problem. But until then, this is what you have to look forward to in this platinum run. A 3-course meal where you are served an incredibly challenging thrill ride, and cake as dessert topped with a lot of RNG sauce. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and sticking around, staying subscribed. I know I didn't put out a video last week, but honestly, this was the reason why. I wanted to finally put the nail in the coffin and put this game and this platinum trophy to bed. I finally did it, And here's the video, our longest video on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely share this video with the people struggling with the plat, and drop a like to let me know you made it this far into the video. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you guys enjoy your trophy hunting expeditions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.